Welcome to the Seeing Scarlet podcast. This is Shelby here with Sibby as always, and today we have a bling bling episode. We have a new commitment for the Lady Raiders, Kalysta Bird Martin, a top 100 player, ESPN top 100 recent riser. Great big time talent coming to Texas Tech, class of 24, so we gotta wait a year, y'all, but she's coming. And we're gonna break it all down for you, like why you should be hype if you're not already, what some big time scouts are saying about her, some highlights and film that we watch. We're going to get into all of that. But first, if you're not, please follow us. Hit the subscribe button. You're watching this on YouTube. Again, this is free content. That is how you help us. That's how we grow. So really appreciate everyone that's done that so far. Thanks, and we'll get right into it.
I like
what
that
are you thinking about her?
Yeah, I like that you call it like a bling bling episode. We've done this so many times, but now like you said, we gotta wait a little bit. But no, a huge pickup, and like we talked about in our sports recap yesterday, just how much of a commitment this is for the Krista Gerlich era. And like you said, we got a lot of things to go through, a lot of stats, how she will be incorporated with the team, all that good stuff of what we know so far. That's what I've noticed with this research is it's a lot easier to find things about transfer players, obviously, because they're already in college. So we'll do our best certainly here. But the cool thing that I've noticed so far is that a lot of people have been talking about her for a long time. So that's really, really exciting to see that consistency throughout her high school career, and curious how it's going to translate to college. But on paper, this girl's a dog. Like, she is really, really good. It's been fun to watch her play in the highlight reels that we have seen. So I'm really pumped. I'm bummed that I gotta wait, but you know what?
Yeah.
Good things come to those who wait, is what my parents would tell me.
It's good to really have it lined up, to be honest. That we don't. I mean, we do technically, as the roster stands, have one more spot available for next year's team. Of course, you never know. There could be more because the transfer portal, someone could leave, and that's all stuff in this day and age. But as it stands, there will only be 2 spots next year. Kalysta will fill one of those. And then I don't know what the team's going to do, but it would probably make sense if that's the only person they plan on bringing in, because they had a pretty big class, and we had 3 of them come in for this past one. And then the next year is going to be very heavy on freshmen and incoming players, because we'll have like 4 or 5 players outgoing again, just like this past year. So I could see them being like, we got our 24. Now, of course, if one of these, we have offered other 24 players out there. There's some really high 5-star ones. So I'm not saying they're done for the class of 24, but it makes me feel like this might be their plan for now. If the right situation comes along, of course, they'll figure it out. And then they'll use that last spot for a portal person next year, because that's the world we live in. But she is a great player. She did play in like the private school ranks, similar to Logan Johnson. So her stats are silly, like absolutely ridiculous in high school. But we'll get into later that she shows it on the AAU circuit as well. But she was the 2023 this past season Max Preps Basketball Player of the Year, because how can they not give it to her? Her stats were stupid. She averaged in her career, not just last year, but she's averaged 22.7 points per game, 4.4 assists per game, 2.9 steals per game, 3.5 blocks, and 14, let me repeat it, 14 rebounds a game for a 6'1" guard. And she's just recently bumped up to 6'1". She's coming up on 6'2", I think, or close to it. But she was like 5'10" for a while and had a big growth spurt in the last year. So that's really helped her. And she's grabbing 14 rebounds a game.
What in the world,
as a guard?
dude?
Like, it's just silly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things that I noticed about all the clips that I was able to find of her. When she wasn't shooting, she's so tall, so like the clip would be of the shooter, but I could see like her hair bobbing at the bottom of the frame, and that was showing that she was getting ready for a board. Like the shot went up, she's down in the paint, I'm gonna get this rebound. So the 14 rebounds per game is silly, but it makes sense because of how she plays. And sitting at 6'10" or 6'1", not 6'10", sorry, 6'1", combo guard from San Antonio, went to Providence Catholic High School, 4-star like you talked about. And so with this pickup, I've seen a lot of people that I'm friends with that are from the San Antonio area, and they've heard about her, or they know about this program and this team and the connection that she's made with the other players on the team, but also her coaches, and the way that she designed her post and what she said when she committed to Texas Tech is so clear that she knows the road and the journey that she's been on, and she's ready to continue that career. And I even saw a quote from somebody, it may have been one of her past coaches, but they were saying, yeah, if she keeps balling out and wants to do this, she's going to be playing for a very, very long time. So already showing incredible stats right now, and we'll definitely get into that more. But it's just showing a lot of sustainability, and I just really appreciate how her presence so far of, like, she's committed to Tech, and you know, she got the shot with her, the bling bling basketball. Dude, that thing is like, it's like Dwayne the Rock, but the basketball. Yeah.
I would not even want that on the bench. Like, that's like, what if you drop that? Oh,
that's a high ticket item.
Yeah. But I want to know where she got that, and it's way out of my price range, so I don't even know what I'm saying. One day when I'm rich enough to afford it, I will buy myself something like that. But I do appreciate that online. She's she committed to Tech. Now, call me a pessimist, but I'm never like, oh, it's all done until they sign the dotted line, especially with someone that is rising the way she has. We're going to have to fight off other programs tooth and nail. And like, I think we feel comfortable. She seems really committed. Yeah. Like, it's like she's calling it home. She's replying to every single person that thanks her. And just following her journey, she doesn't seem like someone that would commit if she didn't truly believe this was her home. And that doesn't mean she can't change her mind, and I wouldn't hold it against her. But I think she believes it. There are players that commit to schools hoping that brings out a bigger fish down the line and gets them to offer them. I don't think that's what this is. I think she is like, this is home when she went on the visit, and she believes this is her home. And I think we have I feel comfortable that she'll sign, but I never feel 100% until it happens, and that'll be like signing day in the fall, hopefully. Yeah. Similar to Logan. Logan announced that she committed this time last year, and we had to wait it out because she got a bunch of offers late in the year as well. And I think that'll be a similar situation to this, because they're both similar background type players from the private school ranks that rose late because they got on these really high-profile AAU schools, and people saw them nationally. And Kalysta was that way. Like, she's recently gotten Power 5 offers from us, obviously. Purdue, Utah, Wisconsin, the Navy. That says everything about her, too. They don't just give those out because you're good. You get those. It's like West Point offers and Rice and these others. And her first offer came from Old Texas State last year, or in 2021, I guess. So she's going to keep getting those. Just because she committed to us, people aren't going to stop recruiting her. But she says she's home. I believe it. I think she's made for a Krista Gerlich offense. She gets that. It's clear that Gerlich is wanting to build a team of taller, longer, versatile guards and have more positionless basketball, so to speak. That's how this team going into this season really is, minus a couple of players who are pretty stuck in their positions, and we'll find ways to use them still. But the majority of players on this team, even going into this upcoming year, can play everywhere, like 1 through 4 at minimum. Some of them can play, a couple of them can do 1 through 5 if they really have to. Pretty much all the guards can do 1 through 3. A few of those can do 1 through 4. Like, it's very versatile, and I think that where we are as a program, that's how we jump. That's how we jump a couple levels. That's how we don't have to slowly get back into contention. You go for this route where you can be versatile and play multiple positions and switch everything. And that's how the men's team did it and got there as fast as they did. So I like the way they're going with that, and she fits right into this model.
Yeah, you're completely right. And let's talk a little bit about how she plays and like what she looks like on film. I think what's really cool and impressive, and what we have combined our notes to be, is kind of like what you're talking about, how versatile she is, and the different highlights of her career. It's all like really, really impressive. Y'all, she as a junior passed the 1,500 career points mark. So she's a bucket.
Get 2,000 this year, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And we can talk about like who she's playing, all that good stuff, but it's still there. And watching her, she's got great handles. The way that she moves on the court is like it comes into play, I think, with her height and just like her length. It makes me think a lot about like Freeland, like Kyla. Just
I agree.
Down the court. They look very, very similar. So the only thing that I'm like excited about, not the only thing, but one thing that I can see her vastly improving on is just like being in college and like getting into the weight room, and kind of like what we've talked about with Maupin. Sure. Like when she gets that power and just some more muscle behind her play already, that these stats are just wild. Her free throws are at 77% in the 2022-23 season. And she's just drastically improved as the seasons have gone on. And I think the offers that she has, like what you were talking about, like we got Big Ten in there, the Navy UTSA, her first offer being in 2021. She was good then, and she's only going to continue this year. So it'll be really, really cool to just see how she progresses in her last year of high school, and get us really excited for the 2024 season.
For sure. And don't be surprised if she rises in those rankings, because she got added to the top 100 like 2 days before she committed to Texas Tech. Like she's a recent entry into that, and that is because she's grown height-wise, but she's also grown ability-wise. And people have known about her for a while, which we'll get some of these scout evals here in a second. But they've always been waiting for her to develop physically, like you talked about. She still has a long ways to go strength-wise, but she's starting to come into her own. Like the physical tools have been there in the sense that she's just God-given length. Her length, everybody talks about her length. It's just insane. Her arms are so long and have been long forever, and now she's just growing into her body vertically as well.
It looks really cool.
And that's why she's rising. And she'll also look to rise because the AAU circuit's going. She's playing for SA Finest, which is where Bailey Maupin played as well. It's one of the better AAU schools out there, or AAU programs out there. And she rose in the spring, had a lot of good comments, and now coming up in July, they're coming into another circuit for that. And I could see her shining. And then you go into the season, maybe she'll get a McDonald's All-American nominee thing. But there's hope that she doesn't. I mean, it's great. We already have her, right? We've already done the work. She's committed, but that just means she's getting better. So that'd be cool to see her keep going. But to get into some things where it's like not just us talking about it, I found some notes on her. Like you said, people have been talking about her for a while, right? She's had the ability. She just needed to figure it out. And I found this note from Prospect Nation back in 2020, which means she would have been like, 14, 15, depending on when that was done.
Yeah.
14, I don't know, 3 years ago. She's probably 17 right now. So yeah, she's probably 14. And they said, ridiculous, right? And this is from their camp they worked with there. She said, Martin is a lanky wing with versatility and athleticism. She worked on her skills during this academy. Her willingness to commit to improving her weak hand passing is a signal to us that she will continue to progress. As she matures physically, we expect the impact that she can make on the game to increase. They noted her strengths as being versatility, athleticism, and her commitment to skill development. All things that everybody says about her to this day. And her one weakness was physical maturation, which you noted,
which makes sense.
She's already growing into.
Right. And like that's where it happens, is in college, right? So all of that makes sense just from a timeline.
She was 14. I'm sure she was really gangly then. Like she's still growing into it now.
Right. Oh yeah, by the way, 14. I keep forgetting that. And I love the comment here about like the commitment to improving and things like that. Like obviously that's always what we want from athletes, and to see people say that about her, and that's been pretty consistent with the things that I've read on too, is that she's committed, and she's, I think, not only committed to herself and her skill development, but also to her teammates. Like there's some notes in here too of how there was times where she like wasn't playing and she was still committed to the team and the betterment of all of her teammates, and seeing that show up in gameplay too was really impressive. One thing that I noticed is it seems like she has knowledge of the game in a way at this age that's really impressive. There was a couple of like backdoor passes that she completed, and to me, like that's just showing that she's paying attention to the bigger picture of what's going on defensively, how to create opportunities not only for herself but for her teammates. And scrolling through her Twitter, you know how I do, doing the vibe check. How we doing with the vibe check?
Down.
Yeah, so first off, she like didn't have a Twitter until like 2021, because again, she's like 14 at that time.
Well,
whatever.
She definitely just got it for recruiting reasons. Someone's like, that's where you get recruited.
I don't even know.
Probably doesn't like it.
Yeah, don't blame her, honestly. But one of her all the majority of her tweets so far since the time that she created it was just a lot of hype for the players that she's played with, and when they get offers and they're signing on with different teams, things like that, it seems like she's always the one that's hyping them up. And if we know anything about our current roster, that's it. We know we trust Krista Gerlich, and I think it's because she's not just looking at athletic ability and things like that. She's also looking for who's going to thrive in this environment culturally. And so I always love that. We're nothing without each other, and having that team mindset from the jump. I love it.
It's a good sign. I don't foresee our staff ever going after players that don't have that mindset. I don't think that we want them no matter how good they are. And you're going to see that as they progress. There's going to be players that are from Texas and even have connections to Tech. I know there's one out there right now. I'm not going to name names, but I've heard the reasons we're not going after them as much is because it's more of like a character thing. That maturity is the better word. I don't like the word character. It's not. They could still be a good person. They just need to grow up. Yep. And I think that'll continue. And I think that's why you offer someone like her is she's growing into her own, but she has that maturity, and you see that, and everyone says she's a high IQ player, but more than that, she's willing to work, and that's what you love. She's willing to wait her turn. I think SA Finest put out a thread on her that I read through, and it was the story about how she's grown into who she is, and how they bumped her up to their premier team, and she wasn't really getting to shine because it's loaded with top 100 players, right? So they bumped her down for that year, and she didn't complain. She didn't complain at all. She said, okay, that's fine. I trust what you're trying to do here. She took that opportunity to grow her game and get better. And then this year now she's back up to that elite team. And that's where people on the circuit are starting to see her. And she's getting more offers, and more scouts are seeing her. And this past May, she was at one of the best events out there in the Adidas 3 Stripes Select event. And this one's down. Yeah, it's a lot. They just call it 3SSB, I believe, is the short term for it. But she was at one of those kickoff events down in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and the scout there said, Kalysta is an impact player. Her ability to play multiple positions on both ends and do it well was the best I saw all day. Again, this is an elite tournament with the best of the best there, really. Top talents from all over the country, and it was the best he saw all day from that standpoint. She has a crazy wingspan, Drew, that she used to rebound, block shots, and play the lanes on defense to intercept and break up passes. She is tall and strong enough to be effective in the post, but also an assassin from behind the arc. She is a baller.
I love that.
Right. She conveniently rose to a 4-star player and a top 100 player about 2 weeks after that event.
Nah,
this was
that
late
ain't,
May.
yeah.
This was late May that came out.
That's the plan.
Weird. She showed out.
That's the results of that work, right? And I love the quote there, like an assassin from behind the arc. I know you put notes on this too, Shelby. Y'all, look at her shot. There's so many shots where I'm like, where did the ball go? Because it's out of the damn frame. It's just beautiful shot.
It reminds me of Bailey Maupin in a way, how it's just so fundamental. Jada Wynn, when we were covering her, fundamental. It's pretty.
So good. That's such a perfect quote to describe some of the highlights that she has. And Jason Key, he's on the McDonald's All-American selection committee. So big names here.
That's why you're like, maybe she'll get a nominee later this year when he's saying that about her.
Totally within the realm of possibility. But talked about, again, her elite length is the words that he used. Both skill as a passer, a shooter, finds those boards, and sophisticated knowledge of the game, which we were talking about earlier. It's just so impressive to see that at such a young age, because of that foundation. It just elevates her game automatically to the next level. She is showing up and she's doing these things physically, but she's using that mental game to also benefit her in any way that she can. And I love that quote from Jason and talking about more of the knowledge of it too, and making sure that that's highlighted. But yeah, it could be a nominee. Could be
it could be in our future, and that would be like the third straight year with at least a McDonald's All-American nominee. But it already is the third straight year with a top 100 player, which is big for Gerlich in this program from where they were. I mean, that's where the program used to be, right? We were getting top 100 players, and then everything that happened, and she really had to build from scratch, and she's done that from jump. Like, it's been, people had to be patient with her, but if you're watching, she was bringing in the talent as quickly as you can in that scenario. Maupin started the train on the recruiting side, and then she's brought in Shavers, former top 100 player. Bree, I believe, was a former top 100 player, but now she's graduated. But obviously Jordan Merritt this year. The list goes on of all the Ashley Chevalier, who people will get to know this year. If you don't know the name, go look up her highlights. You'll love her. She's been with the team for about a year and a half, but hasn't had a chance to make her impact. She will this year. There's a lot of top 100 players, and Kalysta will join that group next year and add to that. So I'm really excited. That's really cool. I think that's really cool for her to get that note from all these scouts, if you will, but from Jason Key, he's not the only one, but he's on that committee, and that tells you that they're paying attention and that she can make that list. Now, she has a long ways to go to get like on the McDonald's All-American team, but she is 8th in the state of Texas. I think she's ranked like 81 overall in the country right now.
Yeah.
And like 8th in the state. So who knows? I mean, she has the length, she has the versatility. If she shows out in July at these AAU tournaments coming up, she could just shoot on up, and then that's when we're gonna really have to fight people off. So you're like, it's like exciting, but you're also but maybe
please
not.
Don't wait. Yeah,
Can you wait
just
till
wait.
after you sign the paper. So it's good. It's good problems to have, and the staff is prepared for it. And also the staff isn't gonna hold her back either. They're not gonna like trap her and be like, you have to stay here forever. Like that's what makes them want to come here. And Gerlich will support her and whatever her decision is. But we're going to be positive and say she's a Lady Raider, and she's committed because she is right now. I don't think she's thinking about not committing here. It's just that's the reality of it. She's going to keep rising, and we will have to watch that until she signs. But for now, she's one of us, and we're hype about it.
I love how pessimistic we can be as Red Raiders. Like we've been hurt in the past. We're just like, responding to what's happened in the past. But
on the bright side, it hasn't happened to Gerlich.
That's true.
Yet. So hopefully that'll continue.
Don't you put that evil on our girl, our queen.
She's come through. There's other programs that have lost them at the end, but she hasn't yet. And to be fair, it's less common in basketball because those spots fill up so fast. Like,
that's true.
Especially with the transfer portal, like it's just not. It's less common, so we should be okay. But I'm just saying, the way she's risen in 2 months,
it's wild.
It's not gonna stop.
Yeah.
And so, like, she's not been a steady. Like, she hasn't been a top 100 player for the last 2 years. Like, say, Aaliyah Chavez for Monterey. She's the number 1 player for 2 classes from now. Like, people know who she is already. And people knew who Martin was, but she just needed to grow. She's shooting up so fast now that's not just gonna be like shoot. Like, it's just gonna keep going steadily for the next few months. So you gotta keep doing the work. But I'm excited to have her on campus. Yeah. In a year from now. We did watch some highlights, what we could find. Again, her high school highlights, I'll start with that.
Sure.
She absolutely just overmatches everybody in high school that I saw. I'm sure there were some games there was some higher talent when they got to like the playoffs and stuff, but it was kind of comical watching the highlights that I did see.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's like a foot taller than the other team, and she's a guard, but on her team she was like playing post because they needed her to, because she's the tallest person on the floor and just blocking people's shots. She would block a shot, get the rebound, dribble through everybody and go score, or dribble through everybody and then like behind the back pass it to a person in the corner for a 3. It was just comical behavior out of her, and you're like, oh man, I hope that like she's going to be able to step up to the competition. But then you see that in the AAU tape that you see.
Totally.
I know, did you watch her against Cy-Fair? If people aren't familiar with Cy-Fair, that is where Aaliyah Chavez, the number 1 player in the class of 25, is. There's about 6 top 100 players for the class of 24 on that team that she was going against, and she more than held her own in the highlights that we saw.
Totally. Yeah, that's the cool part about it is like we have those high athletes like Chavez, and we're usually our eyes are drawn to them because they are such stars on their teams. But like she had some shine too in that. And I think what's also really cool with her career and her experience so far, specifically with SA Finest, is there was I think like a Twitter thread that we looked through, and one of the last sentences was talking about like her trusting the process. And we have talked already about how there was maybe some, like, not adversity, but just not a perfect picture, right? It never is. But trusting that process, I think, is so hard to do. And especially in high school, when you know, that's not really maybe not part of your mind. But I think that's also what we're doing with Krista Gerlich, is trusting this process of her being in this role, still kind of new. And I think what brings me hope about her sticking around, we got to stop talking about that after this episode, because we're not going to put it in the universe. But I do think
we're
that,
just being honest. I think we're good.
That's true.
I think like we're 90% good. I'm just saying, to be realistic, it happens. That's sports.
It does.
Like, you don't know who's going to offer her, or what an NIL age they're going to offer her if she keeps growing.
It's
but
true.
She committed because she loves the school, and we're good there. That's not changing.
You're totally right. And like, I think it's kind of just her first step of trusting the process with Gerlich, and like what you and I have talked about for the past 6 months of just the potential that this team has, and how quickly it can happen, and what we've already seen from this past season. And I think it's a perfect time for her to continue to have that trust into a process that it's going to be fruitful no matter what. And with I think, like, I don't know how to really to describe this other than the importance of having that culture fit. And we see players like leave teams because it's not a right fit for them, or like they're not being treated well. And they have this opportunity to find that fit. So I think it all goes part of that process of finding your fit, and hopefully that being with Texas Tech. And it is so far. And I don't see a way that we've heard too many confirmations about Krista Gerlich and how she shows up for her players for anything
changing.
Else to exist. I'm
not worried about that at all.
Yeah.
Culture fit, we're beating any school that tries to come after her for that. 100% confident in that. It just, there's other factors in play. I feel comfortable about it. She also knows Bailey Maupin from SA Finest. I mean, she was much older than her, so like, I don't know how much interaction they had, but like, there's connections there. She feels comfortable here. I feel good about it. I just wanted to bring it up to be realistic and not just, shoot smoke like that. That's just the honest truth, that it's possible that she could, but I don't think she will. So we're good there. What I saw against her on tape against Cy-Fair, from what we could see, since again her high school tape was silly, go watch it just for fun if you want to see someone out there just hooping against. But listen, I'm sure they were good players as well. It's just she looked silly. I wonder if her and Logan ever played. I would have loved to see that game when they got into the playoffs. But against Cy-Fair, against elite talent, I saw someone that was a 6'1" guard, feels silly to say, out there making nice in and out dribbles and transition to score, like one-on-one down the court. And she looked fluid doing that. She brought the ball up, dished it off multiple times. Great. She's really good in the pick and roll, which is important in our offense when she gets into it in a year. She was a good passer off of that. She was good at finding her space and shooting off of that. If they sunk under the screen, she's comfortable just shooting it. Easy, clean, off the dribble threes. Again, that goes to her shot that we talked about earlier. It's consistent. And she's comfortable in the short corner, which I like, which is similar to like Kyla. Kyla was really comfortable as a freshman for Tech in that way. And you seem like that should be easy, but for whatever reason, a lot of players get into that short corner shot and they panic because it's like a tweener. If you don't practice mid-range shots, they feel weird because you're not up close and you're not shooting from three. And so it was clear to me that she practices mid-range. She's comfortable in the mid-range and isn't afraid to use that. And I think it's a weapon a lot of people in this three-obsessed world don't do well. And they are like, I'm either shooting a layup or I'm shooting a three, and they don't know what to do. In between, in that all that space on the court, in between, they waste it. She does not waste it, which I love. And a cool thing I saw in that game is she was in it's a highlight reel, so we didn't see a lot of it, but it seemed like she was operating at the top of the press, which we have heard Texas Tech is going to do some full court pressing moving forward, and that's kind of where Gerlich wants to go when she has a more athletic squad that can do that. and she would fit in well. Again, similar to Kyla, where probably what Kyla's going to do at the top of the press for us coming up in Jordan and those longer, lankier guard type players that can play the 4 as well. She was doing that with ease and stealing balls and deflecting and making them thrown out over her and she's going to cause problems.
Yep.
The more she grows and can get stronger, just like you mentioned with Maupin. Maupin got a little bully balled at times this year. I don't think that'll be a problem her sophomore season.
Yeah.
But that might be something that Kalysta has to grow into. But outside of that, she's going to harass. Like, think about her guarding a 5'8" guard, which isn't even short in normal terms, but like 5'8" against 6'1", 6. She could be 6'2" by the time she gets on campus. That's just not fair. Like, in her arms she has the arms of a 7-footer. Like, it's going to be hilarious to watch her play defense, and I cannot wait, to be honest.
I think
people have described her as being a menace on defense because of her length, and I want to see her play next year for sure.
That was like the first thing that I noticed. I was like, a menace. If I was playing against her, I'd be so bummed because I would get stuffed constantly.
It's so easy too. Yeah. Just like, get out of here.
So easy. So definitely using her length to her advantage, and it'll just be really cool. Yeah, like we've talked about, to see her last year and how much she grows, and then continuing on with her career at Texas Tech. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than this is such a great pickup. Really, really exciting. It's nice to have that and knowing what we have for that 2024 season, and see what else we add on to it. But excited to have her, and she seems to be excited to have us too. So that's so hype.
Future Lady Raider. The only other notes, I think we covered it all. Her shot is consistent. She's hierarchying.
So good.
Like, it's so clean. It really reminds me of Maupin. We have a lot of good shooters on this team, but there's something different when you watch someone with perfect form, because you don't see it often. Doesn't mean you can't shoot with janky form. That happens, right? If you learn that way, but when you have that beautiful form, it's just fun to watch from it's just pretty. It's just pretty basketball, and she has that perfect form, like she's been. And when you have long length like that, it just makes it even prettier. Now, if you don't do it right, it can look like a bird, like a baby bird, But she has it together, and as she gets better to have a quicker release, she'll be even more dangerous. But it's already really hard to block her shot because she gets it off from so high. So. Yeah, be excited about this, Texas Tech fans. Go follow her if you're not. Her on Twitter is BirdSA24 is Twitter. She interacts with people a lot. Like, she'll reply if you mention her and stuff. It seems like, I think she's probably more active on Instagram. And her Instagram is K.Alysta, but there is 5 A's. _34. Just search Kalysta Martin. It comes up. It's like the top one. I'm gonna need her to clean up her usernames as she grows and learns the ways of marketing online. Let's get a consistent username there. But go follow her and go make sure she remembers Texas Tech and is hyped to come here as she is now, and doesn't forget about that as she goes through the next few months, and we get her, and we'll try to get her on for an interview. It might be, who knows, we'll see what she wants to do. It might be one of those wait until she signs kind of things. But if she wants to come on before then, we'll welcome her. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Welcome on board, Kalysta Martin. Again, out of San Antonio, a really, really impressive pickup for Texas Tech women's basketball. So looking forward to seeing the Bird in the USA.
Yeah, I love her nickname already. I just call her Birdie. I love it. So
that's cute.
Yeah. let's get it, guys. We'll see y'all next time. If you aren't, follow, hit the button. We'll have more videos coming out. Until then, wreck 'em.